I am fed up with this. 4 months of misery. 4 months every year. We have to deal with this. This. It's wet, it's grey, it's miserable. There's 6 hours of daylight and we don't know how to deal with it. And that's what I'm going to be ranting about today. On today's Ranty Run. Okay, one shot and we are rolling. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting day. Not happy to be outside, and I'm gonna moan, rant and complain on a single uncut take as I run around out here. Oh, I'm currently at Baymore Stone Circles, Mid-Ulster, Plunk Plunk. Now you realise how many cuts I make in my videos most of the time. Plunk bang in the middle of Northern Ireland. Well, not quite plunk in the middle of Northern Ireland, because that would have you drowning in Loch Ness, which nobody wants to do. But speaking of drowning, look at this weather. I might as well be stuck in the middle of the loch, because it's absolutely disgusting up here at this lovely, look, Neolithic stones, wonderful stone formations. This is an immensely historical site of historical proportions up here. The Baymore Stone Circles, viewed from above, they make some interesting shapes, but I'm not staying here because I'm heading away over that way. And today I'm mostly going to rant and moan and complain about how annoying it is to be in Northern Ireland in winter. Let's have a moan. Well, welcome to this Ranty Run. If you haven't been on a Ranty Run before, it is a run where I rant about something. Today I'm, as I said, in County Tyrone, Mid-Ulster, near Cookstown. Davagh Forest is away over there. We're at the Baymore Stone Circles, and I'm going to run the newly opened boardwalk solar trail all the way into the Dark Sky Centre in Davagh, which, interesting fact about this part of the world, this is the darkest part of the country. It's really far away from any kind of light pollution, so that makes it perfect for solar search. So we'll go for a run. So way down here, Northern Ireland's only dark sky centre, best place to come and observe the stars in the night sky. If you can see them, not that we can see anything. We're staying in these really nice glamping pods down at Spurn View, which have this amazing, beautiful window open to the stars. But the stars aren't there. Why? Because of this. Because of this cloudy misery greyness, which is pretty much what we have to deal with here from November until nearly March some years. It's just Northern Ireland is on the same, is it latitude or whatever one's up and down long, there's latitude, yes, I think we're on the same latitude as like Siberia, or like parts of, you know, parts of Russia that this time of year are knee deep in snow all winter. People don't quite appreciate just how far north we are, but because we're plunk bang on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean, we're kind of protected from the worst of winter because of ocean currents and stuff like that. Although that's all getting crazy with all this with all the climate change stuff which is going on. Some people have said climate change is quite good for Northern Ireland because we're experiencing quite mild winters. It's currently like double figures, I think it's 10 degrees. I'm actually too warm wearing this. In November, it's normally icy. So I have seen lots of sarcastic comments saying that climate change is going to be fantastic because Northern Ireland will become tropical as we watch the tropics drown under the rising sea levels. But we'll maybe leave climate change for another Ranty Run. But this is fun. This is a fun plastic boardwalk which leads all the way into the forest, and it's a solar trail, so there's like different points on it. What am I complaining about? Oh yes, how far north we are. So yes, while we're protected by the Atlantic Ocean and the currents, which means it rarely actually gets really, really cold here in winter. Normally your average winter temperature could be like 1 degree. So I think it's actually in the positives. We don't even get snow that often. But what we do get, because we're so far north, is the absence of daylight. Once we hit this time of year, it's not bright until about 9 AM and the sun decides to start leaving us around 4 PM. The result of which is that our culture somehow hasn't managed to adapt to this. It seems to be if you go further north, places like Norway, Lapland, Sweden, they seem to have adapted to this and embrace it. We haven't. We've never learned to cope, which is surprising because we've been here for thousands of years. We just haven't learned to cope with the fact that the days get shorter. And it's like every year, can't believe how dark it is at 4 PM. It happens every year. No, I just don't get it. And culturally, we don't know how to cope with it. I mean, it's been happening for so long. Buy a coat. But we don't. What we do is, we just don't go outside. We just stay inside, eat, get fat, unhealthy, and depressed because we're not experiencing any kind of sunlight. I've spoken to a doctor friend about this, and he says, yeah, probably most people sort of, once you get this certain far level north, should for 4 months of the year probably be taking vitamin D supplements. We do. Like, I feel miserable every winter. My energy levels drop through the floor because my average time spent in sunlight goes from many hours to perhaps none some days. Because if I'm busy, I get up in the morning, I work, I think I'll head out at 3 PM. 3 PM comes, and yeah, the sun isn't going to set for another hour and a half. Sun sets like 4:30 in the middle of winter. Yeah, theoretically, it should still be bright. But then this miserable cloud comes, and it's dark at 3, and it's like, I'm not going outside, it's miserable. It's miserable, and because culturally, for some reason, we've got this complete inertia when it comes to going outside in bad weather, we end up not going outside. We just stay inside. And as I said, eat rubbish, get really unhealthy, feel depressed. I mean, it's a genuine problem. And then every summer, it's like we come out, it's just for some weird reason, our culture has just never twigged onto the fact that this happens every year. We're always surprised. You go into any petrol station, retail shop, and the idle chit chat at the counter will change from talking about the rain or that's very hot today to it's not a lot of light about all those dark mornings, can't I? It happens every year, and everybody oh, I don't get it. We're always surprised by it. Oh, but yeah, this grey cloud up here, this is a nightmare for me this time of year, because I like making videos about cameras and gadgets and drones and things that are purposely designed to capture the environment, and they tend to work best when there is sunlight. This video right now is probably not looking great because you've got a complex background environment that's incredibly low contrast, lots of fine details and reeds and things, so this footage probably looks like mush. The ideal scenario for cameras like this: bright sunlight, high contrast, we've got blocks of similar looking colours, whereas this is just a kaleidoscope of misery. I quite like that line, a kaleidoscope of misery. That quite accurately describes the Northern Irish experience of our weather at winter. Interesting, that over there, that little hill is what's known as a drumlin, and its distinct oval shape is thought to be formed by ancient glacial movements. Not that there's any chance of being glaciers here anytime soon, but that's interesting. In fact, the last ice age, there was a mini ice age every time it was here. I think during that period it would have been pretty much uninhabitable here. Very cold. Drumlins. What am I doing? Oh yes, focus on the complaining about. I mean, this is a nice boardwalk. This is a nice, very nice running surface. Although I imagine the slightest bit of frost plus ice to the top of this, absolute death trap. Oh, here's a nice bridge. You can watch that and I'll shut up for a bit. So how do we cope? What is it that we do in winter to can we improve it? Can we break out of the malaise of misery that we allow to descend on ourselves every autumn? The concept that we can't go out because the weather's bad? Well, I think there's two things we can do. Both of them I've done and I'm trying. The first one is spend money on decent outdoors gear, proper raincoats. You will notice this. The outdoor culture here, I think, is actually quite bad. The attitude generally is, if you go up a mountain and you see someone who's prepared, you'll kind of be like, look at them taking this so serious. There is kind of that attitude. You go up the mountain, typically you'll find people heading up on their trekkies and trainers, completely unprepared. And if the weather gets bad, they have a miserable experience. It's the minority. I mean, well, the minority go out this time of year, but the minority, I would say, are properly prepared for bad weather, proper waterproof gear, etc. Maybe the exception there is up in the mountains, where the only people daft enough to head up there this time of year are the well prepared. Unless it snows. Unless it snows. I've been up sleeved honored watching people in tracksuits, trainers, and then just big jackets crawling on their hands and knees around a frozen precipice of a waterfall river type thing, never occurring to them that perhaps I'm not appropriately attired for this. No, it's just push on. If I die horribly, well, so be it. Whereas I go sailing past with ice spikes on my feet. We're just, yeah. Be prepared, people. Spend money on proper outdoor stuff. Buy a decent raincoat. Buy waterproof trousers. And then freedom of the outdoors belongs to you. You can go outside, you can get that, and you get the same boost. Not quite as good as a sunny day, but you get the same benefits when you go outside in bad weather. And sometimes actually I think it's better when you go out in bad weather. There's less people about, it's fresher, you feel like you're an explorer, a traveller, an adventurer out in a strange land, out in the wilderness, and it feels a bit like dangerous and chaotic. And here you are fighting the elements. So buy some proper outproof gear. Outproof gear. Whoa! There's Uranus. Uranus? Oh. I forgot that I was going to run past Uranus. Right, let's keep going. Yeah, embrace it. Embrace it. And then the other thing, the second thing that I think we should all embrace is a concept that I'm calling the Dark Nights Appreciation Society, a mindset, a club, a thought, a feeling, a mantra for those who refuse to bow down to the dark nights, refuse to bow down to the rains and be cowed by them and battered down. It sounds a little bit weird. Yeah, for those who just refuse to give in to the weather, to collapse under the pressure of the rain, to lie down, to give up, to snuggle up, to refuse to go out. The Dark Nights Appreciation Society is a statement that says, yes, the weather is miserable, yes, it's dark, but I will leave the house. So this started actually about 5 years ago. I've been doing this, and the concept is really simple, because normally what happens weekend nights, Saturday nights, just don't tend to do anything. Unless you're going to like see friends or you're going out or something, you just sort of loaf about the house and vegetate. So the idea is that you go out, you go somewhere simple and eat chips. You probably thought this was going to be something healthy, but no, the concept is quite simple. You get in the car, you drive at least half an hour to somewhere nice. For me, I tend to go to Ballycastle. You park the car, you attend the local fish and chippery, and buy a pot of chips and eat them in the car. Here's our bridge. And that's essentially it. If you want, this is where it gets better. If it wants, it's really warm. I cannot believe, I can't take this off because I'm doing this in one take. I can't believe how warm it is. For November, it's normally a lot more miserable than this. I was hoping it would have rained in the middle of this. It allowed me to sort of explain the misery a lot better. But anyway, yeah, so if you've got the energy, because often you don't have in the winter, and it's the whole point. So often we lack, oh, excuse me, I just had food before coming out and I keep burping. Often we lack the drive to go out for a walk or do something outdoorsy. So this idea is that you'll leave the house, you'll get in a car and you'll drive, and that will gradually introduce the idea of doing things when it's darker, of getting out. Maybe that'll lead to walks, maybe that'll lead to, you know, doing something outside. But initially it's just going and getting chips. And then if you decide, you know, you want to expand on it, because the chips are making you expand, go for a walk beforehand. Or go for a walk after. I actually really like walking in the dark, and you know, comment below if you like walking in the dark. There's just, I don't know, I don't like going out to walk in the dark. Don't get me wrong, I hate that, but I find it really difficult to go out and walk in the dark, especially if it's drizzling or raining a little bit. But I never ever regret it. There's something about being out somewhere, even if it's just a country road near your house, or even streets. You're out there, it's dark, you're dressed appropriately, you're warm, you're cozy, and you're out, and it's you, and depending where you are, you get a completely different experience than what you would normally get if you're in a town. Ooh, what was that? Oh. If you're in a forest, you get the wits scared out of you. But you, yeah, I don't know, a feeling of danger and being out anyway, even though there's like zero risk. People are always paranoid they're gonna get murdered or something in a forest. You're far more likely to get murdered in a city. Not sure that's gonna provide much comfort to anyone living in a city, but it's true. People fear the outdoors at night and wild places at night, but they're a lot safer than most of the places we spend most of our lives. Yeah, I think you're most likely to be murdered in your own house, actually. So there's no excuse for not going outside. So yeah, forests are different at night. They're quiet, they're still. Unless it's a storm, there's sounds that you wouldn't normally hear. And when you walk in among the trees and you look up, all you can see is just the silhouette of the tops of the trees. And if it's actually a clear day, unlike this grey misery, you can see the stars, just this vast canvas masterpiece just up there. If you get somewhere dark, you're just looking up at the universe. Sorry, I just got lost in marveling at the universe. I have a very vivid imagination. I can see the universe even though it's not there. That makes me sound like a crazy person. And then you get towns and cities, which I actually think, especially this time of year, at night have their own, ooh, look at these colours, have their own charms, because when it rains, and then when you get into December and you've got street lights and Christmas lights, the water in the ground reflects the lights and it bounces up and the whole place comes to life in a kaleidoscope of colours. Kaleidoscope is my word for the day. It's magical. That's why I'm working on a Christmas advert at the minute for towns, and we're shooting it at night. And I hope it rains, not during the shoot, but beforehand, because everything looks better when you've got the black tarmac gleaming and glossy with the Christmas lights reflecting off. It looks better, it looks cozier, even though in actual fact it probably means it's a bit damp and miserable, but it's just something about it looks really nice. So yeah, I think we should try and embrace the bad weather. And I'm kind of saying this to myself because I've hardly been out running in the last month. There's been a few reasons for it. Probably the biggest one has been, where am I going here? I'm either going this way or this way, but there's no sign. That is useful. I think it's this way. Is it that way? No, I'm gonna go this way. Let's see if it's this way. Yeah, I hurt my back. It put me off running. I got really busy at work, and there's just all kind of, just lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff happening. It just meant I just wasn't able to get out and run as much. I feel like I'm going the wrong way. I'm gonna try and check the map if I have any signal in here. I have no signal in here. I'll go this way a little bit and I'll turn around if I have to. Oh my god, no, it must be the other way. This would be good if I can't actually find the Dark Sky Centre down here. I'll go to that corner and then decide. I haven't been here in ages. So yeah, my running's kind of taking a downturn, and then if I lose momentum with my running going into winter, I end up not running over winter. That's typically what happens to me every year. My running goes down the toilet. I essentially end up stopping. Yeah, they think it's this way. I end up stopping, and I just continue to eat the same amount of food without the exercise. So I literally put on 1 kilo of weight a month, every month in winter, which adds up quite quickly indeed. I may have gotten lost. Enjoy this bit of the run. So the place I need to get to is over there. I think this path curves around. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I'd be interested to know where you are in the world. Let me know where you are in the world, and let me know kind of what is the cultural attitude towards winter and how to cope with it. Do people just shut themselves inside and not go out until it's over? Or do you have some kind of way of dealing with it? Really feel this is not going the right way. Please be going the right way. I think it's going the right way. Yep, I'm going the right way. Yeah, how do you deal with bad weather in your culture? I'd be interested to know. Maybe we can pick up some tips here. I mean, I suppose the flip side of it is that we get incredibly long summer days. In the summer, it's light from about 4 AM until 11 o'clock at night. So we get these incredibly long days in the summer. So it just seems like such a massive contrast when suddenly flip-flop the winter and there's literally, 6 hours of daylight instead of 18. It's crazy. Yes, here we are. This is the Dark Sky Centre. So if you've got any interest in the night sky, in the stars, in the galaxies, come here and you'll find out about it. We're doing a tour here later this evening, which I think I'm trying to make a vlog of this trip. I'm making a vlog of this trip on the DJI Action 2 camera, so if you're interested in that camera, you can check out the vlog of this, which will hopefully come out soon enough. There you go. Things to do. Dark Sky Centre, so here it is. Hello. There you go, so I'll be back later to do the tour, so you can do a tour in there. I think they've got a telescope in their roof first. I'm not quite sure what's in it. I was supposed to have been promoting it actually for the tourist board back before the pandemic started. I was lined up to do a couple of days down here filming a group of people visiting the centre, staying in accommodation locally, and then come up here at night to this amphitheatre where there's a projection show which happens on the wall of the building at night. Plus this is the perfect place for astrophotography because totally dark skies, but that never happened. Finally back, finally getting a look in. Oh, look, it's a larch. Yeah, it's a weird one to be back here. When was that? Yeah, March 2020. Was lined up to do all this work. It was my perfect project. What I've been trying to get, more tourism projects, promoting places in Northern Ireland, sort of further afield than where I live, because it's about an hour away from home. And then the rug was just pulled under me with the pandemic. I lost the project to promote this place. I lost a pile of other projects, and I lost 4 months of work, just completely wiped out in an instant. I had this period of probably, I think about 4 months, maybe 3 months, where I really wasn't sure if my business was gonna survive, just because how much stuff disappeared. Let's have another look at the building. Oh, here's a path. Where are we going? I think I may be accidentally running on a mountain bike trail. I'm gonna go back this way. There we go. We'll head back. Yeah, 4 months where I didn't know what was gonna happen. Was I gonna be completely bankrupt? Was I gonna have any work? It was a tough time, but there was plenty of support. The government was good, giving support, because I've been in business for a while, and then things started to pick up. But yes, I'm very grateful for that. Hashtag blessed. Because it could have been, I appreciate a lot of other people didn't have the same experience. Things didn't quite work out as well. I was just fortunate that I've been in business for 4 years at that point, so the support was there. Whereas I know people who had only got started doing video work, or it was all events based, and they ended up with like nothing, or at least £300 a month or something like that. It wasn't good. Was not good. Right, I think I may have exhausted everything I wanted to rant and indeed run about. I'll flip the camera around, give myself 30 seconds to see if there's anything else. But other than that, I will, how long is this? 27 minutes. I feel like Ranty runs should be around half an hour. That seems to be the appropriate length. Actually, here's what I'd be interested to know. Would you watch an hour-long run? I mean, I can always change the topic and just talk about something completely different. Here's an idea. I'm gonna close my eyes and point at something, and whatever, it's gonna be a tree, and whatever it is I find myself pointing at, I have to make up complete nonsense for the next 5 minutes. Okay, let's do that. That I am pointing at this, which I believe to be a gorse bush. So gorse bushes are quite interesting in bear in mind this is all lies from here on out. I'm just going to wing this. The gorse bush is quite a unique plant in the sort of the Irish biosphere, because of all the plants it's actually the only one that is sentient. Why did I say sentient? I don't know. So you'll often notice that gorse bushes are in like specific places on hills. They often gather alongside trails and sometimes seem to grow very close to where people go, and that's because gorse bushes, as I said, are sentient. They're self-aware, they're alive in a way that other plants aren't. So and people do a lot of, this is turning into like some kind of Pocahontas story. People do a lot of burning gorse to clear space for agriculture. So these sentient gorse bushes object to that, and they've got one skill, and that skill is that they can actually move themselves and sort of uproot and walk kind of like an ant, but not very fast, not very far. They can move maybe 4 or 5 centimeters a year. So they once humans started chopping them down and burning them, they start to move themselves more and more towards footpaths and trails where people are going to walk, in hopes that they'll snag people on the way past. So that's why you always seem to find them near trails. It's this conspiracy among the gorse bushes to scratch mankind. But something very interesting about the gorse bush is its spikes, because the spikes on it, if you leave them out in sub-zero temperatures, separate it from the plant, you have to cut them off, otherwise it doesn't work. It's to do with the chemical makeup of the resin that's inside them, and as long as it's alive, its soil will continually flow. But if you cut, I can't breathe, if you cut the spikes off the gorse bush and leave them out in really cold weather, the cold weather causes an endothermic reaction. That is a reaction which is cold, which changes the chemical compound within the resin, and it hardens as hard as steel. And you can actually use the frozen spines, and they stay like rock solid even after they defrost again. You can use them as nails. They're as hard as, not as hard as steel, more like sort of a mild iron, but they are hard enough that you can use them to create basic constructions such as boats and other such things. Another thing you should definitely try with the gorse bush is using it as a back scratcher for your bath. If you're loafa breaks and you think, I need another loafa for the bath, just chop off a big sprig of gorse, chop it off, bring it into the bath or shower, and when you feel like you need a bit of refreshment, just rub it down your back and you will instantly feel a lot more alive and alert. That's a fact. Right, okay, that was 4 minutes of lies. It wasn't very good. Oh yes, all right, here's a concept I've been thinking of asking if people think I should do, and the concept is basically that I'll put out a call on Instagram or something for people to give me a list of random objects, and I will use some kind of randomizer to select 3 words or 3 objects that people send through, and then what I have to do with zero preparation is do what I just did, but come up with a 10-minute story based on those objects on the spot while running or walking or hiking or something. We'll call it Stories with Steve or something like that. So if you'd be interested in Stories with Steve, let me know down in the comments below. But I am going to leave you here and run back because my breath is gone, and this has gone to 32 minutes, which is about as much as I'd hoped. So just in case you're wondering, this was shot on the GoPro Hero 10 Black using the natural color profile. Shot it in 4K, 30 frames per second. I got this little guy recently, the DJI Action Go. Will be some more videos coming about this at some point. I will be doing a comparison between this, the GoPro, and the Insta360 Go 2, because I've just released a new version which has 64 gigabytes of memory instead of 32. It's quite a big upgrade. 3 quite different cameras, but they're actually the 3 cameras that I think people are most likely to need to choose between, even if they don't do it. So I'm going to do a video which is kind of like which of these cameras is best suited for which person, for which purposes. That will probably not be out until December because I have a very, very busy work schedule. But it'll hopefully be out in time if you're thinking of getting one of the 3 cameras for Christmas, or if you're just interested in an action camera. But right, gonna go run back on the trail. Hopefully you enjoyed this ranty run. If you managed to get this far and you had zero interest in my ranting and running, but you're maybe interested in technology, hiking, camping, running, have a look around the channel and you might find something a little bit more suited to what you're interested in. And maybe someday, now you're seeing what happens. I always try to figure out how to end my videos, and when I'm running I typically say, and maybe someday I'll see you in the trails, bye bye. But then I thought, does a ranty run have a different sign off because it's more general? Oh, we'll go with the trails. No, I have a better idea. But thanks for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope that you learned something. If you didn't learn something, hopefully you just found it very, very entertaining. And maybe if you're out in this part of the world and you're running up here, maybe someday I'll catch you on the boardwalk. Bye bye. Oh, it's it's so much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. It's so much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. Every person and their dad will think you're going mad, but it's so much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. Oh, it's so much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. So much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. Oh, you just might catch a chill. You'll wind up feeling ill, but it's so much fun to go running in the rain, in the rain. Hi.